Hey YouTube, NC Shootist here. Wanted to bring you a video today about reloading the 30 Luger cartridge, also known as the 7.65 by 21 Parabellum, 7.65 Luger. It's a child cartridge of the 7.65 by 25 Borchardt, which was developed by Borchardt and um, in the late 1800s. Wasn't a very successful design or cartridge that went along with his pistol. For some reason, the pistol was a little underpowered for what most military and police units were looking for. So they went back to the drawing board at DWM, and Borchardt, along with George Luger, came up with the 30 Luger Parabellum pistol and cartridge. Designed the pistol and the cartridge at the same time, and it was a very successful cartridge and pistol combination. It was in service from about 1898 until sometime the mid to late 40s, probably 1949 is maybe the end of its service life. It was used by most famously by the German army during World War II, but it was also used by Swiss forces, Swiss police. Pretty much a large part of Europe used the 7.65 Parabellum pistol and cartridge, and that later turned into the same pistol design but a different cartridge with the 9mm. So what I've got here today is some 7.65 brass. It's actually 30 Luger brass from Star Brass. So I would recommend, if you're having trouble finding a unique cartridge, go to Star. They carry a lot of obscure cartridge sizes. They've got good prices. It can be hard to find 30 Luger brass if you're not using once fired. So these are all brand new brass. They're unprimed, and I bought 500 cases, and I don't exactly remember off the top of my head how much they are or they were when I bought them, but I'll put a link in the description of the video. And like I said, I would recommend Star. Good company, good folks to work with. So let's get started. I've already lubed my cases, and what I use is a homebrew mixture. It's heat fuel treatment, which is, you'll want to get the red bottle, which is pretty much 100% isopropyl alcohol, and mix it with some liquid lanolin, and it's almost exactly the same formulation as Dillon Case Lube. It does a very good job of lubing these cases. I'm using steel dies right now, so I need some sort of lubrication on them, and this has served me very well. So there's a few homebrew recipes out there you can look up on YouTube. I would recommend using those instead of buying the what I consider overpriced Dillon lube. All right, we've got I've gone ahead and weighed my powder charges to make sure I'm throwing a consistent charge. I've used the beam scale and a digital scale just to make sure I'm in the same range. I've loaded small pistol primers. I've got my dies all set. And one recommendation I would have, if you reload several different calibers of ammunition, go ahead and get some of these quick change turret heads if you've got a Lee press. They save a lot of time, make setup easy. Once you get your dies set, you can pull off your die head, your turret head, store it, and when you're ready to reload that caliber again, you just put your turret head on and away you go. So let's get started. We'll take a case, put it up in our shell holder. Okay, we'll run it up, put our primer in. Okay, firmly seat the primer all the way down. Okay, go ahead and throw your powder charge. And what I like to do Even though this Pro Auto Disc is a very good system from Lee, I always like to make sure that the powder is throwing a charge, and to make sure it's throwing the correct charge. So I'll check each case, even though it's probably not necessary, but I'll check each case just to make sure, you know, you're getting a powder charge down in there and not getting too much. Okay, we'll go back down. We'll take a bullet, seat it. Okay, now Lee sells a mold that can work with the 30 Luger. It's actually a 0.311 diameter. You can see it right here, 0.311 diameter mold. But the actual bullet size for 30 Luger is 0.309. So I spoke with Lee, and they recommended using their bullet sizing die for 0.309. So I bought that die, and after I cast my bullets, I sized all of them through that sizing die. And you can find that sizing video in my playlist. It's a fairly simple process. You just put the bullet on the ram, push it up through the sizing die, and you're good to go. Okay, we're rolling right along here. If you haven't ever shot a Luger pistol, I would recommend finding somebody that has one and asking if you can shoot it. They're a very, very smooth pistol. Of course, that makes sense being a German design. You know, the Germans always make very, very precise, very mechanically smooth operations. It's got a kind of an interesting design of a frog leg slide operation. So instead of directing all of the recoil force back to the shooter, it actually directs it up and away, you know, perpendicular to the axis of the barrel. Like I said, a very smooth design, very enjoyable pistol to shoot, very accurate. You know, there's not a whole lot you need to do to it. It's a great pistol to shoot. Okay, continuing on here, rolling right along. Yeah, 30 Luger, if you don't reload it yourself, it can be somewhat expensive to shoot. I know I used to buy a Winchester. There's a couple different manufacturers. I think Fiocchi and Cellular and Bellot, I think is how you say it. They make 30 Luger cartridges, and they're, you know, fairly reasonable in price. I'll have to say the Winchester, to me, are way overpriced for what they are. You know, from what I've heard, Winchester usually runs one week a year of 30 Luger production, and I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I've heard, and that would probably explain why the prices are so astronomical. I think a box of 50 can run you anywhere from the mid 40s to the mid 50s, which in my opinion, you know, paying $1 a round for, you know, a bottleneck pistol cartridge is a little high in my opinion. The Fiocchi seems to be a little bit better value. I've shot the Fiocchi cartridges, and you know, still not cheap. They're I think for a box of 50 cartridges, they're usually around $32. So they're, again, not as expensive as the Winchester, but you know, still not very cheap. So I would recommend, you know, reloading your own. What I do is cast my own bullets using wheel weights, and I water quench them to make them a little harder. Use liquid A-LOX on all my lead bullets that I cast. So far it's served me very well. And you know, I can get 100 pounds of wheel weights at my local junkyard for about $40. And you know, once I smelt all that down, I wind up with probably, you know, 85, 86 actual pounds of lead that I can use. But you know, if you reload yourself, you can save a lot of money, especially on some of these specialty or obscure cartridges. I'm not sure why they're kind of obscure. You know, so many of these pistols were brought home after World War II as war trophies, and they were also commercially available in the States. So I'm not sure, you know, there are probably several 100,000 of these guns in circulation. So I'm not sure why it is that the cartridges are so expensive and so hard to come by. So I would recommend reloading your own. Save a lot of money, and you don't have to worry about ammo shortages. All right, I think that's probably enough for now. I think you get the idea. Reloading is fairly simple once you get the hang of it, and I would recommend reloading. It's a good hobby. It's something relaxing to do, saves you money, and if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment area. And I hope you've enjoyed watching today. Thanks, and God bless.